So, listen, Dallas is 6-0 against the NFC East and 6-5 against everybody else. And we know the NFC East is the worst division in football, and it's not really close. But why is Dallas so amazing against the NFC East and so average against everybody else? And my belief is that Dallas has a hyper-athletic, aggressive front and a very athletic top corner. They're very risk-taking. Micah Parsons kind of plays wherever. Trayvon Diggs is a pressing, in-your-face, go-for-the-pick interception. In the division with Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, who doesn't throw the ball deep, you're not going to get burned, and Taylor Heineke, you don't get burned with that kind of defense. And if you look at who the Cowboys have beaten, it's really guys that don't throw the ball down the field. One exception, Justin Herbert. That's their only win over a throw-it-down-the-field quarterback. They faced Brady, lost. Derek Carr, lost. Patrick Mahomes, lost. Their losses are to guys that'll sling it. Murray, Derek Carr, Mahomes, Tom Brady. And by the way, Teddy Bridgewater, for the first time in his career, threw the ball down the field this year. They're big, but their win is mostly guys. Matt Ryan doesn't have a big arm. Taysom Hill's a gadget guy. Heineke doesn't have a big arm. Either's Gardner. Either's Kirk. Either's Mac doesn't throw the ball down the field because they don't have the weapons. Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts. Herbert's the one guy. It's a big play. Throw it down the field. I'm going to burn your guys. And my theory is this. If you go into a fight, you and I are UFC fighters or boxers. You are a big puncher. I'm not. I'm not a big puncher. You've got it. You're going to be more aggressive against me. When I know I can't get burned as a boxer or a UFC fighter, I'm going to swing for the fences because you're not going to knock me out. You may win technicality. You may win on points. But when you find two fighters fighting, the bigger puncher tends to be more aggressive, knowing it's not as punitive if he leaves himself open. You're not going to knock me out. And so the Cowboys have this big knockout punch, and they're super athletic, and they're hyper risk-taking. And against the quarterbacks, they may get a first down, but they're not going to burn them with that. It just feeds into their Tyson quality. They just play heavy. That's why they've got so many interceptions and so many takeaways, is they play this aggressive style of defense. It gets burned by Brady. It gets burned by Kyler Murray. It gets burned by Patrick Mahomes. It got burned a few times by Justin Herbert. It doesn't get burned with Taylor Heineke and Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones. So there's a reason in a division with bad quarterback play and guys that just don't burn you down the field, you swing for the fences. And their hyper-athletic defense just goes for it in these games. And again, this weekend, it's Gardner Minshew. Well, he's not going to beat you down the field. So that's my takeaway. Dallas was 1-4 this year against elite quarterbacks. That's what they were, and that's, by the way, that's all the playoffs are. Stafford. It's also quarterbacks that can sling it. Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. That's who you're going to see in the playoffs. Another thing, Dallas scored. Let me see this stat here. I saw this morning. And where was this? Dallas scored 40 or more points 5 times this year. 4 of them were against the NFC East. So these wild offensive games, take a deep breath. But I do think their kind of defensive culture now with Dad and Quinn and their personnel is why you see it. So here, I'm gonna look at the playoffs right now. Let's put up the playoff games this weekend. 2 things jump out to me. So here's the playoff matchup Saturday. It's going to be Las Vegas at Cincinnati and New England at Buffalo. That is Saturday. So I just want you to notice this. Raiders had an offensive coach. That's their culture. Against the Bengals, who have an offensive coach. The second game is defensive coach Patriots and defensive coach McDermott. Sunday, Eagles, Bucks, 2 offensive coaches. Niners, Cowboys, 2 offensive coaches. Steelers, Chiefs, 1 offensive coach, 1 defensive coach. And Cardinals, Rams, 2 offensive coaches. So 9 of the 12 playoff games this weekend, offensive coaches. That's why Vic Fangio, that may be why Brian Flores, although I wouldn't have fired him, Mike Zimmer, this is what's happening around the league. is that every single NFC playoff team has an offensive coach. And there's only one division now that has all defensive coaches. That's the AFC East. And the two teams that finished at the top have the two best offensive coordinators. Buffalo, Brian Daboll, New England, Josh McDaniels. So I'm a broken record, talked about this ad nauseum, but what you're seeing now is this is the future of the league. That is why when Brandon Staley can't make the playoffs with Justin Herbert, some criticism is due. You got to make the playoffs with Justin Herbert playing 17 games. You got to make the playoffs. He's just too good. So my takeaway as I look at those games, my initial feeling about all these playoff games, Las Vegas at Cincinnati. I would take Cincinnati, but I think it's going to be really, really close. I think Cincinnati has one of the weaker rosters in the playoffs. I think Las Vegas has been in so many close wins. They're clearly capable of winning on the road, but I think over time, you can't just keep winning all these close games. I'm going to take Cincinnati narrowly over the Raiders. New England at Buffalo. Listen, Buffalo makes a lot of mistakes, but New England is getting worse offensively. The book is out. They can't throw downfield. I'll take Tampa at home against Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts may not be 100%. I'm going to take San Francisco at Dallas. They played better against better teams. Kansas City, I think, beats Pittsburgh. The Steelers' offense is just, I have no idea why they're asking Ben to throw it 44 times a game. And for all the receiver talent, they don't throw the ball down the field enough. And the Rams at home will beat Arizona. Right now, the Cardinals are not playing well. So that is my opening feeling. As far as the lines, I think the Raiders-Cincinnati's are very intriguing matchup. That one I could go either way because the Raiders have shown we can win on the road. We're good against good teams. And Derek Carr, there's a magic going on right now. They're getting healthier. They're running the ball. They could play keep away from Joe Burrow. That one I got to let bake for a couple days. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.